Okay, hey, how are you guys? So, thanks for joining the stream. This is a grape juice themed stream. Only drink if you're legal. Yeah, let's do it. Hope everybody is well. So, yeah. So how many people? 46, 48. All right. Give me a thumbs up if you like this style of content. It's good for the Googles. You know how the Google algorithms are. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll jump into the subject at hand, a short article, and I'll give you my 2 cents, and then we'll do a little bit of Q&A. So, yeah, let's jump into it. Let me turn this down a bit more. All right, so let's just jump into the piece. Here we go. Let me just get this enlarged for you guys. Don't worry, I'll be getting to Q&A soon afterwards. Before I get to that, let me know, can you guys hear me clearly? Is the sound clear? Let me see in the comments. Sound is clear. Sound is clear. Testing, testing, testing. Ruby, 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 Ruby. Testing, testing. Nerd, nerd, nerd. Welcome to stream. All right, good. Okay, we're good. All right, so let's just jump into it. All right, so here we go. So another Quora article. Should I learn Python or JavaScript for web development? My priority is to get a job ASAP. So my kind of question. So we'll see what this guy has to say, and I'll give you my 2 cents along the way as well. If you desire a job quickly, either language would be of great value. Worry less about the language and more about where you want to go in your nascent career. If you are dead set on web development, then JavaScript is your best choice, but be aware that to get a job, you will also need to have extensive knowledge in HTML and CSS, which are both huge blocks of syntax that require memorization. Well, you don't need too much memorization. I don't agree with that statement. Concepts are what you really need to understand. Why I say you don't need memorization is because with IDEs and code editors like VS Code, etc., you know, what other ones people use these days? VS Code is a very popular one. There's many others out there. They code complete for you. So memorization is not such a huge issue. You have to understand the concepts more than memorization. So if you're worried about memorization, don't worry. You just need to know the very basics of that. So let's jump into it. If you learn Python, you can avoid having to memorize the edifices of syntax or HTML and CSS and stay in the language to develop career in machine learning. But this requires much more knowledge of abstract concepts specific to the field. This is a large undertaking. Okay, and math. If you're doing machine learning, that's the one of the few areas in software development where math is very important. Based on my experience in the market, if you don't care where you go, you just want a job, then forget JavaScript and Python and focus on HTML, CSS. Now, you want to get into PHP as well. Take quizzes and JavaScript. Read Smashing Magazine, CSS Tricks. Make demo pages. Show off your mad CSS skills. Then learn Bootstrap. I can go with that. Trust me when I say there are countless large companies out there that have incorrectly leveraged Bootstrap and now have a web application that rips itself apart on tablets and mobile phones. This is in 2018, so Bootstrap is fine and dandy. Don't worry about that. After you memorize them and have a great demo content, I always talk about that, then work on learning how JavaScript can be used to manipulate the UI. That's called DOM manipulation. This is simple stuff like changing colors, handling on-click events. You aren't learning any real software engineering yet. You will probably be able to get a job with this. Yeah, I like this guy. Joseph is correct here. Slightly exaggerated with regards to CSS. This isn't bad advice, not 100% perfect, but I do think you're slightly exaggerating the work involved in learning HTML and CSS. He is correct, sir. HTML and CSS is not a memorization game. It's not that difficult to learn. The release of HTML5 and CSS3 specifically have cleared up each tech and made the whole landscape a little bit more cohesive with better, more consistent separation of page structure, HTML styling. The result is that each is easier to digest and keep straight in your head, and I really think both can be learned in a relatively short period of focused study and practice, days, weeks, months maybe, but certainly not longer. I would agree with that. With my courses, you can get HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP within a couple months and get a job, as many have. I suggest a good book and a lot of practice. All right. All right, so there you go. I think that's enough with that. So it's a very short piece. I want to keep tonight's stream relatively short. So we're going to do some Q&A, and I got a few other things I'm going to cover as well. So first of all, let me take a little drink. Only drink the grape juice if you're of age. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Stefan. I'm the 169-year-old nerd, 169. And this is the official salute. Code long and profit is, or code long in profitability, I think. I forget my expression. I coined it yesterday, so this is it. So welcome. All right, so we'll answer a few questions. Oh, we have 88 viewers, only 22 likes, and some Ruby developer gave me a dislike. I'm not sure why, but please increase the likes if you don't mind. That would be good for the for everything. All right, so we'll see. Coming in loud and clear. Okay, Stef is good. Hello, Stefan. I nerded to be here. Laugh out loud. Good, good, good. Sound is clear. Good, good. Ruby, clear. Good. Oh, by the way, before I go on, I want to don't switch. I want to promote the growing quickly the Discord, the Stefan Mishek Discord. We got a lot of great people like Salty Shamrock and others who are moderating. So you can get in there with other developers and budding developers. We have about a week and a half, not even a week and a half. We have over 900 people have joined already. So this is growing pretty fast. So I invite you, link below, just join the Discord. It will, you can interact with people from the stream without me having to be streaming. So this is kind of cool. So check that out, the Discord channel, links below. So that'd be cool. So let me get back to it. All right, nerd. Yeah, it was a good question. So let me comment on that. Both Python are great. Both Python and JavaScript are great. Python, of course, could be used for the web stack with backend, with Python Django, and a bunch of different other things. But if you're really interested in the web stack, HTML, CSS, JavaScript are the first choices, for sure, the Trinity. Then after that, you can decide what you want to do. But the good thing, once you learn JavaScript, for you to learn to jump into Python, to jump into PHP, it will be pretty simple. So one of the illusions I try to bust on this channel is that the illusion that you can pick the wrong language. There's no such thing. Why? Is because the skills from JavaScript are transferable to Python. From Python skills are transferable back to JavaScript or to PHP or to Java or to C#. Everything except Ruby. So it's just a very good choice. It doesn't really matter. The Ruby is the thing. It's a joke. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, I'm Stef. This is the salute. Code long and profit. So yeah, let's get into more questions. Hey, are you the same Stefan Mishek that created Swift Playground? Yeah, that was me. Yeah, I created that a long time ago. That's that website you're talking about, right? Yeah, that was me. I haven't updated that site in years and years. I just decided Swift wasn't my thing, although Swift is a great language. Should I learn Java so I can learn algorithms, or should I go with what I already know, which is JavaScript? The best way to learn is to get paid to learn. So get a job, start getting work. Yeah, that's my thing. So for sure. Let me help people out who may be new to software development. So here's a link, it's below, a free webinar video. You join my newsletter. I may email you once a week. CODER'S Career Path webinar, 29-minute video where I talk about the different programming languages, and I talk about the type of work you'll be doing with them and the type of companies you're likely to work for. So check that out, CODER'S Career Path. It's free. And it will answer a lot of questions about, what's it like to be a C++ coder? What kind of jobs will you be working on versus, say, JavaScript? What kind of jobs will you be working on? What kind of companies you'll be working for, etc. So you may want to try that out. So yeah, algorithms, by the way, are not super important in most software development. Don't believe what people say. You'll be writing them, but what's much more important is you learn something called refactoring and design patterns. So links are below. So there's the book, there's the refactoring book. This one's for Java, but there's one down below for JavaScript as well, but they apply to any of the languages. Refactoring is a process of cleaning up and refining your code base. If you know how to code already and you want to up your skill set, get this book or the JavaScript version. Refactoring is huge. If you look through my catalog of YouTube videos, I can show you a couple of refactoring examples. So yeah, highly recommend if you want to level up. And there's also another book listed below on something called design patterns. Much more important than algorithms. So there you go. Oh, I got a super chat. So let me get to the super chat. Super chat gets you to the top of the line. So thanks for that. Coffee on ABD regular 20. So I appreciate that. Is it worth doing an evening degree in CS if I feel I can get an entry-level job within 6 months? I've seen a lot of React jobs in my area. How long to learn? You can learn pretty quickly. I would see whether or not the React jobs require that you have a CS degree to get the job. If they don't say, find out, call up, see what's going on with that. You can learn React on your own within a couple weeks. There's a video on YouTube that I put out about a couple of weeks ago, and it says 7 steps to getting a pro developer job, something like that. It's got a big 7 in the thumbnail beside me. And I would say look at that and then take it from there. But yeah, to do React, you got to know your web first. You got to know your HTML, your CSS, and your JavaScript. Then you can jump into React for sure. But yeah, just you don't necessarily need that degree. Whatever you do, don't go into debt. If you're going to debt to get a CS degree, I would highly advise against it. It's very dangerous. Student loan debt is very pernicious, so be careful with that. Yeah, if you're a total beginner to coding, I have my book as well. You want to check out. You can find it on Amazon. Web design. You find it in bookstores even around North America and in Europe, I think, as well, at least in the UK. So it's a few years old, but it's evergreen. And if you want to learn web design development, you're brand new. This is total beginner, HTML, CSS, and other stuff as well. Why do I get an invalid invite when I try to sign up for Discord? Really? Ooh, that could be because of the thumbnail. That's maybe, yeah, the invite is not thumbnail. The invite might be old. So, I don't know, really? Okay, let me check that. How can I check that? How can I check that? I gotta find the invite people. Copy. There we go. And here's the invite code. I don't know if that code is clickable. This is a brand new invite code. Let me see how it's going. My apologies. Hold on. Everybody get a drink, take a sip of coffee or a sip of wine. And I'm going to make an edit to this thing. Can I do it in it? Oh, there we go. Let me do that. Check. Boom. Okay, try now. I updated the link. And we'll see what's going on there. So let me know what's going on. Okay, so I updated the link. Let me know if that works for you. Yeah, so try it now. Let me know. Does it work or not work? Is there a chance to find jobs as self-taught Python, JavaScript, HTML, CS, Vue.js developer outside the USA? I'm in Jerusalem, Israel. Yeah, I would imagine so. There's a high demand for these type of people with that skill, so you don't necessarily need a degree. On the topic of PHP, I am experienced in Node.js and wanted to jump into PHP using Laravel framework. Can I work with Laravel with basic knowledge of PHP? Please read this. You just got to understand, I assume if you're using Node, you understand OOP. Yeah, you should be able to get around. You just got to understand OOP, object-oriented programming, MVC, basic design patterns, and just yeah, if you know yourself way around Node, and I would imagine you're going to be using, you've used Express or some other framework, you should be okay, man. You should be okay. Which is harder, front or back end, sir? I would think it would probably be back end, because when you're doing back end, you have to have some knowledge of front end as well. But yeah, that would be my guess. It depends on who you're talking to, perhaps. Yeah. So I hope that helps. All right. I can scar. Do you have an opinion on Free Code Camper or the Olden project? Thanks for all your quality content. No, I have no opinion. There's a lot of content out there. Of course, I'm biased. I think you should do my Studioweb content because it's unique and interactive. You got everything you need there. So here's the Studioweb. Here's the developer course, complete developer course. You take my stuff. It's interactive, instant help, instant feedback, hundreds of video lessons. Check out the reviews. All 5 stars on Google. Yep. There's Matthew. Anyway, you can check all that out if you want. And yeah. And then from here, you'll be ready to do just about anything. So I have a bunch of stuff in here. But if you really want to get into development, I would go to courses. I would start with Lizard Wizard. Lizard Wizard is my psychology mind training course. It's going to help you to learn much more easily dating techniques. I highly recommend it. You have to buy me 2 coffees, well, 2.5 coffees, depending where. That will cost you that. But I also have a free training called Lizard Wizard KOMODO, where you get Lizard Wizard training sent to you via email every 3 days. And that's free, so you can join that up as well if you like. There you go. All right, what do we got? We got another super chat, I think, right? Did we get another super chat? I think we did. All right, let's see what's going on here. Got your book and web dev course learning loads. Thanks. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for letting me know. Thanks for another super chat. Another coffee. There you go. Yeah, just read the reviews. If you're wondering about my course, just read the reviews. You can decide from there. All right. How to progress as a beginning data engineer. I am not a data engineer, but I guess one day at a time. I always tell people when you're learning anything, you want to concentrate on your basics, your basic fundamental concepts. So I would get well versed in the fundamental concepts of data engineering, and that will serve you well in terms of advancing your career. Hey, Stef, are you sure web dev isn't saturated? I'm a bit scared the entrance barriers are low. No, there's plenty of work opportunities. And again, once you learn how to program, let's say you learn with the web dev and you find that there's no jobs in your area, which I can pretty much guarantee that's not going to be the case. You can always pivot to something else. Programming is programming, so you'll be fine. The Discord advice expire in 24 hours, I believe. Well, actually, I thought I set it up. There's one where you can just set it and say it's forever. So I don't know. How many people joined Discord? Did anybody join? Let's check it out. Yeah, we had only one person join so far. Let's see what's going on here. There we go. Here's the Discord. See, we got a lot of activity in this Discord. So I invite you to join. Oh, there it is. Refactoring book. Oh, yeah, here we go. Joe Pyramid just joined. So welcome to join. So the links do work. Yeah, so check it out. It's a good way to interact with people. We have a building community, so it's going to be cool. We have some talk. We're talking behind the scenes in the moderator room here about some interesting ideas for the Discord group. I think might be fun for people. Anyway, so let's see what else going. Hey, Stefan, any opinions about Electron? No, I'm going to have to look into it. People have been asking me about Electron and other technology that I'm not familiar with. So whatever, I will get to it, and I'll do a live on it. I'll do a video on it. Discord link does not work. Is it working now, Marianne? Please confirm. Anybody, let me know in the comments if the Discord link is not working. Okay, so it's working now. Okay, so I updated it. Cheers, everybody. I hate the JS framework. Hell, any escape? Well, that's the problem with the JS backend. It's a bit of a mess. Yeah. What is your degree? My degree is none. I was a major at university. I was a major in psychology. And then I had to make a choice, amongst other reasons, between business and education. And my business was taking off. So I decided, okay, I'll get into business. And then I started writing code in 1994. And I've written lots and lots of software. And I teach, giving presentations at schools, universities. Would you please start adding the links to all articles mentioned in the description box of your videos? I know others have and also been asking for them. Yeah, I put in, I did start putting them in. I should put them in the old videos. Yeah, I'll do that. That's a good suggestion. I'm going to check to make sure the links are still working. I thought I used evergreen links. It's not working. I put the link in, copy and paste this if you can. That should take you there. Vue.js versus React, which one is better? I prefer Vue, but React people will differ with me. I would try out both, look at job opportunities, and take it from there. Stefan, would you recommend learning a systems language like C++ or Rust? When I tried, I struggled because I was trying to code the OOP style and didn't really understand the Rust documentation. It's a good question, Sean. It depends on the type of work that you want to do, number one, in terms of job. And it also, have you written software before? Or do you know programming before? You might want to try a more approachable programming language like Python. And then from there, you can jump into other things. So, for example, I do have a Python course right here. This will get you up and running very quickly. And I even have a Python with certification for people who are asking for that. There it is. Yeah, get that. So yeah, if you guys are interested, email me, Stefan at Studioweb. I'll give you a coupon. So even cheaper. So you might start with Python, then that will make learning C++ and Rust much easier. Stop skipping questions. So many questions. Stefan, please also talk about React. I have to do my personal website over again. I was thinking of doing it with React to get more practice in it, growing more and more popular. Yeah, why not? If you have to do your demo website, it's good always to learn a technology as you're doing something real, because it forces you to think about it and learn it. So I say, yes, go for it. So you can say, look, I did this in React, which is much better than I did a tutorial. So yeah, do it. Hi there, is the Django REST framework powerful? I want to use it with React. I've never used the REST framework, but Django is extremely powerful. So yeah. Follow up to a previous question, not answer. How much time should you devote to learning front-end stuff if you're probably more interested in back-end? Just learn your basics, learn your HTML5, your CSS3, JavaScript, learn XML, HTTP request, so you can do your AJAX, maybe basic DOM manipulation, and I think you're good enough from there. Is Java still big? Is Java still a big of a deal as it was, or not so important nowadays? Thanks. It's very big because of the legacy code, because so many big companies are using Java. It's very big. What happened to Ruby? Nobody knows. I have Windows 8. Could that be a problem? I have tried to register with Discord many times with no success. Really? Windows 8 is pretty old, so that could be why. I don't know. Other people are registering. Let me check, see other people will get in. Yeah, we've had several people right here. Each of these green arrows right here. Boom, boom. These are all people who register. So the link works, so something maybe to do with your Windows 8. So, yeah, so there you go. Salty Shamrock's about to jump in here, so with some comments. So he's one. All right, so what else do we got? Frameworks are destroying the coding landscape. Change my mind. No, frameworks are changing the coding landscape, because I've seen it before. This is nothing new, this adoption of frameworks. When the web first started, web development first started, we started seeing the emergence of frameworks almost immediately. I welcome frameworks because the last thing you want to do is boilerplate basic structural code as much as you can. That's what a framework will help you to replace. So that's a good thing. What else is there? What do you think about Scala 3? I have not looked at it. It's a niche language, though. Look for job opportunities. Should you start as a web dev even if you want to be a mobile dev data scientist in the future? It's up to you. If you think that you want to get into mobile dev, then start off with mobile dev. I always suggest web dev for people because it gives you the widest variety of options in terms of jobs and the type of development that you will do. And once you learn web dev, to pivot to mobile, it would be quite trivial, quite easy to do. Hey, Guitar Jams, how are you, man? Welcome. I'm finding Python easier to learn after learning JS, of course. I like how some methods in JS is easy to use out of the gate in Python, not that it was difficult in the first place. Exactly, all these languages, as Guitar Jams has figured out, they're so similar to each other, especially if they're all OO based, that's object-oriented. They are very similar. So Java, JavaScript, C#, C, they're all from that same family of languages, to a lesser extent PHP. Python, I would say, is a little bit more like basic, if you will, but the same constructs, functions of functions, objects and objects, a collection, et cetera, variables, arrays, data types. These are all principles that are universal across the languages. So, yeah. Link works for, so it must be something to do. The link to the Discord is working. We've got confirmation. We have several people who've joined, so. Does Studioweb help schools manage their accounting, or does it interface with well-known accounting software? No accounting in Studioweb. I think you're thinking about software for financial accounting. No, Studioweb is an educational platform. It does help. It does auto grading and tracking and all kinds. It has all kinds of tools that teachers and administrations want to make it easy to teach code. So it's very, very effective. All right, more questions. So what's going on? Let's see what's going on Discord now. All right, we got some activity on Discord. So Summit just joined. Welcome to the Discord. Okay, so lost 50 pounds. Okay, so people are having a conversation here. Wow. Somebody lost 50 pounds. It's usually the opposite. Anyway, so I invite you to join the Discord. We always got activity on there. It's growing. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. Hey, Stefan, just to follow up, I have about 3 years of PHP and JS experience in a small company. Do you think Python would be more valuable than Rust? I am comfortable with OOP and PHP 7.8 coding. Rust is much more of a niche language, and if you do get into Rust, it's a different type of programming. So right now, you're used to building client-facing web apps and web software. Whereas if you get into Rust, you're going to be going into system-level stuff. I think Python might be more within your realm, unless you want to get into low-level coding with Rust. It's a personal taste thing. I'm sure both are good choices. Hey Johnny, how are you, man? Cheers. Welcome to the stream. Stef, can you talk about how you evaluated the market business environment before starting Studioweb? And do you have any advice on doing that for those of us looking to start a SaaS? Yes, well, that's a good question. So I'll give you the story of Studioweb. Sit back, have a drink. I'll tell you the story of Studioweb, how to start a SaaS. So we're going to go way back in time when the world was young. So over 10 years ago, I decided to build the first iteration of the Studioweb software. It wasn't called Studioweb. And it was just an MVP product, minimum viable product. And the concept of selling to schools was secondary. The main goal with the software was just to create an interactive learning environment, a gamified learning environment for coding. That was the whole point of it. So I got together a few guys and we said, okay, let's just build this thing quick and dirty. It was the dirtiest thing ever. And we put it out there, and we just had the concept of a group. So we could group students together in a group. And we had scoring and tracking, but it was just more for gamification to help encourage people score points and so forth. But it wasn't really designed to have the integrity and all the tools that teachers would want and schools would need. Anyhow, so we put out the first version. It had a few thousand people try it out. We got good response. It was cool. So then I got approached by a couple schools down in the U.S. They say, hey, will this help teach code? I said, for a classroom? I said, sure. I said, we have a group function. So anyway, we got a couple of schools on board. And then all the problems started happening because we started figuring out what the business model was for schools, what the use case was. And we had to restructure the whole tracking system. We had to restructure the whole scoring system and grading system, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So from those two schools and going forward with all the different districts and schools have used Studioweb over the years, we kept refining the tool set, the software, based on what they were telling us, the feedback they were telling us. So we kind of fell into it. So it wasn't a grand plan, okay, we're going to sell to schools. It was something in the back of my head, that's all. And in terms of the business end of it, I wasn't quite sure how to sell into schools, because when you're selling into quasi-government institutions like schools, it's a totally different game than if you're selling B2C, business to client, end user, or just selling to a standard business. There's a lot of bureaucracy, there's a lot of protocol, et cetera, et cetera. I won't get into that here. So anyway, that's how that happened. So general advice for starting a SaaS is it's based on a use case rather than the software. So you don't say, how can I use Python to do something? You say, where's a problem? Here's a problem. Like, make it easy to teach code in schools. What technology now I can use to make that happen? So you got to look at it that way. You got to think problem first and then just decide what tech you might use. You may use a technology you've never used before. I hope that helps. Sorry, Stef, but from personal experience with looking at the guts of several websites using Wapalizer, applying for new jobs, it actually seems Ruby and Rails is really a good option. That's cool, man. Now, the Ruby thing is just a joke. I'm just joking around with that. What's going on here? It's dark on this side. Let me turn on the lights a little bit. Actually, how's that? I could turn up the lights. Give me a second. Oh. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. So yeah, no, if you find jobs in Ruby, take it for sure. Future for Python or JavaScript. The future for both is very good. So just regular Ruby, I can't speak for. Yeah, Rails is got a big market. Although it is slowly dying, but it will take 20 years to die, if it ever dies. Do you think cryptology is an important subject as a software engineer? Only if you want to get into that kind of specialization. That's all. How much of CSS do I still need to learn if I want to write Vue.js? Not too much. Just know your basics. Excuse me. There's 3 things you got to know to be functional with CSS. Selector types, the CSS cascade. Well, those are 2 things. I can't think of a third right now. So those are 2 things. Selector types and the CSS cascade are the first 2 major things you got to understand. If you understand that, well, the cascade is the hierarchy. So there you go. Selectors and the hierarchy. If you get those understood, and layout, excuse me, page layout, that's the third. CSS hierarchy, selector types, and layout technique for UI, then you're fine. Then you can go on from there. How are we doing for time? Already 40 minutes. Wow, time flies. So, yeah, so again, invite you to join the Discord conversation going on here. Yeah, so check it out. We have over 900 members in about a week and a half. So it's growing quite nicely. So it's free. All right, what else we got for here? Hey, Stef, do you know if Shopify has a lot of PHP like WordPress does? I don't know what Shopify is created in, so I couldn't say for sure. Just look it up. Just say Shopify created with, it could be Ruby, could be PHP, I'm not sure. Have the folks having trouble with the new link tried refreshing the browser? Oh, yeah. Hey, have the folks having trouble with the new link try refreshing? Yeah, you might want to do that. You might refresh your, yeah, you might have to do that actually. Refresh your browser window. If you have Windows 8, good call there, man, Mr. 101. That's probably why you probably have the old link there. So make sure if you want to join the Discord, make sure you see this link here. All right. Hey, Arnaud, how are you, man? One of my pet peeves is how some people quantify programming experience in terms of number of years. Time spent doing something doesn't mean anything. Projects, knowledge, and problem-solving skills do. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Although you would think that if somebody's been doing something for 5 years, they have a certain reasonable level of knowledge, but that's a very good point. We need to ban all C++ development until we can figure out what the hell is going on. Yeah, my friend is a pretty experienced C++ developer, and he can't stand C++. All right, somebody just joined, so Casper just joined. Welcome to the stream. Hi, Stef. Cheers. It is comfortable to develop with Node on Windows 10. Why not? Cheers. If you're new to this channel, my name is Stef. You can find me if you search on Google for 169-year-old developer. You find me. This is our official salute. All right, so hello, Stef, and everyone in the chat. Be sure to like the video. Yeah, everybody liked the video. I appreciate that. Yeah. You look super depressed. No, I'm just a little fatigued. Just a little tired. I'm pretty good mood, actually. Safe moon. Laugh aloud. People are getting butthurt over Ruby jokes. Yeah, media queries, Kotlin. All right, what else is going on? How are we doing for time? Okay, 43 minutes, not bad. Stef, you should stream from the Discord sometime. That would be awesome. Yeah, I have to look at that. Can you stream video from Discord? I'm new to Discord. I have never used Discord before, so it's the first time. Why do Laravel and other frameworks have speed issues? Is it a code or other factors? I assume you're suggesting that Laravel and other frameworks are a little slower. Yeah, well, you have to run through a stack of code, so maybe a little slower. But as I say, one of my rules is that write time speed is more important than runtime speed, meaning that if the software or the language or the framework allows you to put out the app much more quickly, it's much more important how if it's a little slower at runtime, because hardware and networks are just so powerful these days. Any thoughts on developing on Brave for those that would like to develop sites that will work on Chrome a bit strongly like this like Google? I'm not familiar with Brave, so I have no opinion on that. Sorry about that. Alex Picard says, will full stack JS for web become the norm in the future? Best wishes from Serbia. I don't think it's going anywhere, meaning that it's going to have a certain level of popularity for sure. But, hold on. There you go. But I couldn't say beyond that if it's going to, I don't think it's going to take over. What do you think of the future of EMS scripting? C++ to JS compiler. Random question. I don't know. I've never used it. I don't know what the scuttlebutt is about that kind of stuff. I think it's one of those niche technologies that will float around, but I don't think it will ever become dominant. But, you know, if it works for you, use it. What do you think about Django and React for web dev? I think it's used, and I think it's probably a good combination, although I have not used them together myself. Now I don't want to learn Laravel. No, Laravel is it's one of the best frameworks out there. If you're doing anything of any size, any scope, you want to use a framework, whether it be Laravel or whatnot. I'm a newbie to coding. What makes a language like Swift faster than Python? Good question. It comes down to the way the core language is written. And Swift is a much newer language. Python is quite an old language. And Swift was designed fairly recently compared to Python. And so it's really intelligently designed. And Swift is actually used on the server as well, although it's very rare. I'd say it's just the guts of the language and how it was conceived of. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. So great comment. Good news: the extreme right is losing popularity, and Lula will be president of Brazil again. All right. So, any other questions? We're doing 46 minutes, so we're coming close to the end of the stream because I'm trying to keep my streams down in terms of time, so I can do more. Thanks for joining. Again, if you want to learn about, you want to join the Discord, I invite you to join this Discord here. Link is below. So you got a good group there. And if you want to learn Python, you can check out links below. If you want free training, you should check out the Coder's Career Path webinar video. You just got to sign up. It's free, 29-minute video. Help you to understand the different languages and the type of work you do, etc. And there's Python. You want to get some really cool psychology training, help you learn quickly, help you in all kinds of different aspects of your life. Check that out. And then you got my Lizard Wizard courses as well. So there you have it. Any other questions before I let you guys go? I'm scrolling down here. My main problem with the number of years of experience issue is how clueless HR people require 5+ years of Python experience, while a strong Java dev could adopt to Python in a matter of hours. Yeah, exactly. That's just one of the weaknesses with HR departments. Same thing when it comes to CS degrees, like HR departments in some businesses will say, well, bigger businesses will say, you got to have a degree. Even though you can have a developer who's a dynamite coder with no degree, but has a strong portfolio. I think companies are becoming more mature and realizing that the whole idea of having a degree is antiquated, especially in the code space. A live stream watching you build something in code would be fun. I suppose. Maybe one day. If you want to watch me write code and build stuff, you can check out my courses. There's tons of material there. Cheers, Stef. Ready to dive into coding. I'm a little intimidated, though. Don't worry, Jamrock. Remember, coding is a process that is filled with errors. That's why you have version 10 of Windows and 10.1.254. You have 10.1.2.3 and 0.4 and 0.5. Same thing with iOS, same thing with macOS. They're fixing bugs. They're adding new features, but they're fixing a lot of bugs. So coding is a process filled with errors. You're constantly making mistakes. You're constantly chasing errors. So don't worry about making mistakes when you're learning how to code, because that's just the way it goes with coding. So just jump in, start writing code one line at a time. I recommend 20 minutes a day minimum. But 20 minutes a day is enough, as long as you do 4 days a week, maybe 5. And, eventually 20 minutes becomes 25 minutes, becomes 40 minutes, becomes an hour and a half, becomes 2 hours. Maximum you should spend learning how to code per day is 4 hours. I say 3 to 4 hours max. You want to give your brain rest, but don't worry about it. Just go in there. Making mistakes is the way you learn. All right. I'll answer a few more questions and then we'll sign off. Do you think that switching to data analysis science is a good choice? I'm thinking about the future. I'm a bit afraid of web dev getting automated by AI tools. Louise Philippe RS, I don't believe web dev will be automated away by AI tools anytime soon. It's just too much. There's too much complexity there. AI will creep in more and more and more to make it easier and faster, but it's not going to eliminate web dev. I don't think in our lifetime. Could be in 10, 20 years, but you can pivot out. Don't worry about that. Hey, Nathan, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Companies that discriminate hires due to college degrees for web development is straight up classism. Maybe. I don't think it's intentionally to be classist. I think they're just following protocol. It's like, for example, a lot of companies will test for algorithms for front-end developers or full-stack developers, and algorithms rarely come into it. But one day somebody said, yeah, let's test for algorithms. So they all test for algorithms. You see that a lot in culture. People just do because they were told to do it. And there's no rhyme or reason for it sometimes. For data structures, you go with Python or JavaScript. They're both fine. You might find more tutorials on data structures in Python. But if you're doing any basic course, like my JavaScript course, you learn the basic data structures. In my Python course, you learn the basic data structures. Let me say it again. Data structures and algorithms are highly exaggerated in their importance for most coding. Not all coding. If you're getting into AI, very important. You're getting into game development, game engine development rather, very important. But if you're doing web stack and mobile dev, etc., they're not important at all. You're much better off to learn how to refactor code. You're much better off to learn how design patterns. Just my 2 cents on that one. Yeah, so another book I recommend is a book, pick it up, by Naked Ape. It's a couple of zoologists studied humans using zoological techniques. This is going to freak you out about how you live your life, etc. It's a very useful book. I bought this book when I was a teenager, so that's why the pages are all yellow. And it's one of the few books I kept from that time frame in my life. Very important book, one of the most important books, in my opinion, ever written. So if you want to understand why you do things, your motivations, this is a good book to start with. Naked Ape, my Lizard Wizard course is partly based on Naked Ape, partly. One of the several influences. Links all below. All right, and there we go. Oh, we're getting more and more people. Hold on, let me turn on some more lighting here. Woo. Turn that down. All right, there we go. All right, evening lighting. Any other questions? There we go. Also, Sapiens book by Yuval Harari. It's so good. All right, I don't know that book. I'm going to check that out. Thanks for mentioning it. Great stream, sir. Love from India. Well, welcome to the stream, dude. Yeah, Naked Ape's cool. It's a cool book. I know I didn't put a link in the description, but you can just look it up on Amazon. I should put a link. I appreciate the stream. Good vibes. Always learn something from Q&A. Yeah, very cool. All right. So artwork reminds me of Neil Gaiman stuff. We'll check the book out. Yeah, this is this book was when was it published? The original edition was 1967. This is the 1969 edition. No, this is the 1970 edition. So, yeah, this was originally in 67. This is the 1970 edition. So it's, this is a 70? How many years is that? Oh, Jesus. It's a 51-year-old book. This actual book was printed 51 years ago. So there you go. Recommended. All right. So, any other questions? So, again, how many people are joining? Anybody joining Discord? I'm going to check that out. Yeah, so, links below if you want to join the Discord. We've had a few people join. So, check it out. Discord below. Jump on. We have well over 900 people. We should have 1,000 members soon. And Yeah, a lot of fun. We got different channels: the lounge, development talk, coding help, CMS talk, coding news, career advice, Lizard Wizard. So it's pretty happening. It's not bad. It's only about a week or so old, so that's kind of cool. Yeah. What else is there? Have you heard about constructor theory? No, I don't know what that is. Sir, for getting placed in Microsoft, please guide the roadmap as I am in second year of college learning data structures. After that, we will have to learn to get internships in such MNCS. We probably want to learn Microsoft technologies. So you want to get into .NET, C#, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's what I would do. And just do some research on Google. See what Microsoft says. What are they looking for in their interns? What do you think about no-code technologies? I'm loving them. I think they're great tools. If they speed up the process and you can use them to build out your UIs and basic applications and so forth, there's nothing wrong with that. You always say it's the end of the stream and you get your second win. Haha. Yeah. That's pretty much the case. All right. Maybe I missed something. All right. So there you go. Any other questions? If not, I'll let you guys go. And I'll probably do another stream this weekend. And we'll take it from there. All right. So that's it. So I invite you again, go below, join the Discord, and if you like this stream, just give me a thumbs up, and feel free to join the Discord and join any of the newsletters. Take part in that. Do you have any other questions, How to master JavaScript, and how? Wow, I'm biased, but you can look at the reviews, take a look. I have a JavaScript course that people love. Here it is, JavaScript Foundations. You have to buy me a few coffees. Check that out. If you don't like my course, see all the reviews, all 5 stars. 161 reviews. I moved all my reviews to Google months back because I thought they were just more legitimate. So you can check out the table of contents here. Everything you learn. Should have broke these down a bit more, but a lot of material. So there you go. That's my JavaScript course. Yeah, check that out. All right. What do we have here for questions? Mr. Road Jerry Murat. Hello. Well, basically, I started web development about 2 months ago. Learning HTML and CSS, did a bunch of projects, but I'm in the JavaScript part it now, and I can't seem to get it. Any advice? Just keep writing the code, and just keep writing the code, and eventually it will start to click. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, and when you get a bit of code to work, then break the code and see what the error messages are like. See how it behaves, and that's going to help you to understand things. And one day you'll wake up and you understand it. So just a little exposure every day. Write code, even if you don't understand the code, just write a little code every day. I've got a question, but it's too long for the input limit of 200 characters. I have to catch you next time. Would you consider writing a Lizard Wizard book to go with your course? Maybe. I like Lizard Wizard. The whole thing is fun for me, and I think it's very important. I got enough of an interest in it. I might do it, There's so much I could write, because Lizard Wizard is derived from partly from Naked Ape, from a bunch of psychology, Kahneman, Cialdini, and others, from my martial arts background, boxing background, business background, and of course I studied psychology in university. So it's a bunch of different things that sort of comprises Lizard Wizard. It's very practical and pragmatic. Is JavaScript good for server-side? It is. Why not? Node.js, it works very good. What kind of personality traits makes you vulnerable for psychological deformation when you work in development? I guess being too open might be an issue. Yeah, people are easily manipulated by outside forces. It's that's because our brains are designed to follow authority figures and the herd. So if you're on Team A, likeliness, most people will just agree everything Team A agrees with. When you see that you're on a team and you seem to agree with everything that team believes, with no exceptions, then you've been lizard-brained. You've been manipulated. If you're somebody who is on a Team A, but you disagree with some of the concepts in Team A, then you're more of a free thinker. That's a good indicator. So if you're somebody, you're a little bit of left, a little bit of right, in some areas you agree with this group, in some areas you agree with that group, that means you're more of a free thinker. But if you just agree with everything that one group says, then you're likely you're trapped inside of a lizard brain smash. I don't know. I'm trying to find polite terms. So, yeah, if you ever find yourself like that, yeah. I'm willing to pay newbie for app dev. Okay, Bison American Club. How often do you update your web developer course? Do you plan to add new content? I'm actually working on updates now. I teach the fundamentals, so they haven't changed in a long time. Last time I did an update was to my MySQL course. I'm adding a few things to the courses. Not huge updates, but they're just going to bring them like up to the bleeding edge. But again, if you do my web dev course, you come out with workable skills. You better get jobs and do all kinds of different things. So another thing, here we go. I often find it daunting to start learning something like learning to code, and sometimes start, but then stop a week or two. And is there a lizard wizard explanation to this? Yeah. Your lizard brain, which controls your emotions, it doesn't understand long term. It only understands immediate gratification. So, when you're sitting down to learn to code or learn anything that will require a bit of time, your lizard brain doesn't see a reason to do that because there's no immediate gratification. So you have to, there's lizard wizard technique, which I teach, that teaches you to engineer it, to position learning code, for example, so that your lizard brain, your emotional self, has a desire to learn this stuff. So that's what it is. That's all it is. Your lizard brain saying, I'm not getting anything out of this, writing all this code, and there's no immediate gratification. So it doesn't want you. The lizard brain is always trying to save resources, energy, because learning something new takes a lot of energy. So it will say, well, don't waste your time on this. So it will give you feelings of boring, of being bored and apathy, because it doesn't want you to waste what it perceives as a waste of time to learning this stuff, because there's no immediate gratification. So what you have to do is you have to, well, the cheap way is to try to use just pure discipline, to use your higher brain to tell the wizard brain, hey, listen, we got to learn this anyway. But that's not the best strategy. The best strategy is to understand the lizard brain and then use lizard wizard technique to teach or trick your lizard brain into thinking that this stuff will give you immediate satisfaction. That's one of the things that I've done in the Studioweb application. You get immediate wins and payoffs, immediate satisfaction. So one of the tricks I teach people is a 20-minute a day trick. And I say, when you're learning something new, coding, when you're learning how to code, make the goal to do your 20 minutes a day. So what happens, it's easy to do 20 minutes, it's quick, so lizard brain will go, okay, it's not so long, it's only 20 minutes, and there's less resistance. You sit down, you do your 20 minutes, and you go, yeah, I did my 20 minutes, I accomplished a goal. You can check it off, boom. And that gives a positive feedback in your brain. where the emotional part of your brain, the lizard brain, goes, "Hey, this is great. I actually did something positive," because it's about framing that amount of work as a positive outcome. So instead of making your goal learning Python, your goal should be spending 20 minutes a day learning Python. That's the goal. So you're getting positive feedback all the time. There's a little lizard wizard training trick for you. Highly recommend. So if you're interested in that, you go to my store, Lizard Wizard courses. Again, I tell people now who are learning with any of my courses, you should do Lizard Wizard first. It's going to teach you how to learn much more quickly, besides so many other things. It's going to open your mind. Ask anybody who's done Lizard Wizard. They freak out about what they learn in that course. So check it out. There you go. I hope I answered that question. All right. What is the no-code movement? It's just people using software that builds apps, websites mostly, without having to write too much code. It's nothing new. They've been doing it for years. They're getting a little bit better every 5-10 years. Being self-taught Flask developer, what opportunities I have in freelancing. I don't know if you're going to get too many jobs as a Flask developer. A lot more jobs as a PHP or JavaScript developer. But you got skills now. You can pivot that into anything you want. All right. One or two more questions. Hi, Stef. What do you think about the new CodeNet that IBM presented a few days ago? I'll have to look at that. See what that is all about. I'm not familiar with that. By the way, if you like the stream, please do give it a thumbs up. If you're new to this channel, my name is Stef, and I am the 169-year-old developer. So this is the official stream salutation. Welcome to stream. So I invite you to join our growing and active Discord channel. Only a week old, but over 900 people. So yeah, check it out. People are chatting on there now. So when this stream goes offline, link below this video. When this stream goes offline, you will be able to continue to chat with everybody on Discord. That's why I set it up, because people were asking for that. All right, guys. Thanks for joining the stream. If you like it, do give it a thumbs up. Comment below. I will have it in replay so you can watch it after it ends. So may the glass be ever full with good vibes. Yeah, I ran out of grape juice, so I got to get some more grape juice. Let me end with my book recommendations. You guys have a wonderful weekend as well. So again, one of my source materials for Lizard Wizard is this book. This is my 1970 edition. I've had this book for decades. One of the few books from that time frame in my life. The Naked Ape, it's going to really break your mind in terms of how your brain works. If you're totally new to web dev, my book on web design is for total beginners, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. If you like to read, if you like images and so forth, it's very cool. You find it on Amazon, very highly rated. You also check out my Studioweb interactive training video courses. That's also very cool. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to plug one thing. I should plug it. I don't plug it enough. Don't switch. So I'm going to plug. I have to plug. What am I going to plug? My mentoring program. If you want a boot camp, basically my boot camp, where you have access to lifetime access. You learn all pro-level coding, hundreds of video lessons, quiz questions, interactive training, certifications, job interview prep, resume building, freelancing, private mentoring videos, consultations. Check it out. Link is below. This is my most comprehensive. This is the equivalent of $20,000 programs you'd find on boot camps. If you want that level of support, it's there for you. All right, guys. And the final book I should mention, it links below, is my It's the refactoring book. This is not mine. I didn't write it, but this is such a crazy important book. This is my copy from 2003, and this is Java. There's one below for JavaScript. It applies to any of the languages. So I highly recommend this book if you want to up your game as a developer, if you already know how to code a little bit. Refactoring and design patterns is the key to become a high-level developer. Yeah, sorry, John. I'm about to sign off. What do you think about Firebase? I think it's very good. How to feel more motivated about making projects. You should check out Lizard Wizard, man. Lizard Wizard is going to teach you all that kind of stuff. But you're going to have to buy me a couple coffees. Cheers, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I'll end off, thanks for joining the stream, rather. I will end off the stream with my ASMR boat video from Maine. All right, so we'll see you next time. Join the Discord below.